The cow of whiteness. Oh, yes. See this. Pause to read and imbibe this definition. It's applicable to what we're going to be talking about. I'll just say, man, what we're seeing here, what we're seeing in America right now, is basically it's becoming clearer and clearer that whitey people, a majority of you, on the left and the right, are just incorrigibly racist. Y'all are oblivious about it. Y'all are apathetic about it. You feel entitled to your racism and the spoils of it. And here's the thing, a lot of you feel entitled to the racism and the spoils of your racism at a subconscious subliminal level. A lot of you are not wouldn't be able to consciously verbalize that thought. But it is an organizational concept of this society. It's one of the I would say the seams of this society. It holds this society together. This society is basically a white supremacist society. Or as Ashley aptly put, a white narcissist society as well. Or white supremacist society in their mind. They think they're supreme. That's thing two. So to demonstrate how fucked up you whitey people are, I'm going to go back to, I was reading an article about the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm just going to share a few clips of me reading the article and talking about it because it's indicative of how racist y'all are. It's really, truly indicative. I mean, it's just another example. It's a highlighted example. The white people's response to the COVID-19 pandemic basically indicts you as being unapologetically, incorrigibly, and intransigently fucking racist. You all have some really fucked up ways about you. If you think it's going to affect black people more than it affects you, you're like, why do I have to do anything? I don't care. It doesn't affect me. But you're that way because it affects black people or other minorities more than you. That's in your mind. So you don't give a shit. And that's been the problem in this place. That has been the problem in this place. Y'all don't give a shit about anything. This woman talking about when the two white Wisconsin citizens were unalived by the frozen folks, right? This woman got up in there, you know, she thought she was expressing outrage, but she don't realize how fucking racist she came out talking about, can we get back to regular police brutality, please? Yeah, I just had to pull this up so you can remember what was said, what was done back when. And the two comments here are so apropos. But she didn't realize she's actually telling on herself, you know? Telling on white America, frankly. It is what it is. Meaning, can we get back to it affecting those minorities instead of us? Because we're at the top. We're supposed to be shielded from the effects of this stuff. AKA, we're supposed to be shielded from the effects of our racist stratification of society. Here's some clips. Hey, so check this out. Highlighting COVID-19 racial disparities can reduce support for safety precautions among white U.S. residents. I know this is kind of old and dated, but I think it's worthwhile to talk about this with relation to what we're seeing right now with the Voting Rights Act and the fact that white people seem to be so, I don't know, white people just seem to can't stop being racist. Now, the U.S. media has extensively covered racial disparities in COVID-19 infections and deaths, which may ironically reduce public concern about COVID 19. In two pre registered studies conducted in the fall of 2020, we examined whether perceptions of COVID 19 racial disparities predict white U.S. residents' attitude towards COVID 19. Utilizing a correlational design, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go through all of that stuff. We found that those who perceive COVID-19 racial disparities to be greater reported reduced fear of COVID-19, which predicted reduced support for COVID-19 safety precautions, hence the quote-unquote near riots over masking in Michigan and the plot against the governor of Michigan. In study 2, we manipulated exposure to information about COVID-19 racial disparities, N1509, whatever, reading their persistent inequalities that produce COVID-19 racial disparities, reduced fear of COVID-19, empathy for those vulnerable to COVID-19, and support for safety precautions. These findings suggest that publicizing racial health disparities has the potential to create a vicious cycle wherein raising awareness reduces support for the very policies that could protect public health and reduce disparities. Basically, if it's affecting them niggers more than it's affecting us, why should I sacrifice my comfort for their lives? But that is wild. Y'all are just incorrigibly racist, man. Y'all can't stop yourself. So, of course, this went to court. Sorry. Over the legality of Wisconsin's shelter-in-place order. Let me just scroll up for a little bit so you can see. You can find this article for yourself. Highlighting COVID-19 racial disparities can reduce support for safety precautions among white U.S. residents. Man, y'all just this is just hapless with y'all at this point. Race is central to U.S. social organization, wherein society affords the most power, privilege, and status to people who are categorized as white. And these are different, writings that I have here linked. Socializations in this context encodes associations between status and race, such that individuals become accustomed to thinking and behaving in ways that reinforce the hierarchy. Another study, you can click the link. Both children and adults show the tendency to reinforce the status quo, believing that the way things are is how they should be. Roberts et al. But this inclination seems to be particularly prevalent among members of high status groups. As such, U.S. residents, especially those who are white, may be less concerned about social issues, example, police violence, environmental contaminants, health conditions, that predominantly impact people of color because this is how they expect things to be. Thus, despite the fact that white people make up the majority of COVID-19 deaths in the U.S., perceptions that the COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately impacts people of color could reduce public concern about the virus. Like I said, this is from 2022. It's old. But it's a really clear, concise, wide-based sample. It's like a large sample size. And analysis of years of the public's, response to the 2020, to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it indicts white folks, man. This is not a good look for y'all, man. But as we can see from the results of 2024 and the consistent, still large and electorally significant support for Trump still, y'all really don't give a shit. Y'all still support this shit. Still a large electorally significant amount of people considered MAGA out there. Y'all be willing to tear up and throw away the Constitution if it means maintaining your white supremacy, your white primacy. And, man, what you're doing with the redistricting, the kind of obvious, just kind of absent, just the absent atrocity, the absent political atrocity of what y'all are doing, the absent racist political atrocity of what y'all are doing, the support, that the Republican Party assumes they will maintain or receive for diminishing black political potency from white people is a hell of a thing, man. It's a hell of a thing. And again, I'm just pointing out an old study about COVID-19 because the way y'all responded to COVID-19, I guess it's a harbinger of what y'all are willing to let happen to this country if you perceive that your primacy is being challenged in any way. So you guys put Trump in, the arsonist, to basically burn the country down because you perceive that we are getting too much. Insane.
Brand spanking new Lexus SUV. How is that possible? Integrate into the same neighborhood that I worked my entire life to get into. I don't understand it.
Here's this guy right here in his brand new Lexus.
There he is, right there.
Right there. That guy right there.
It's what Make America Great Again has always meant to certain people. It's never been about patriotism. It's always been about hierarchy, about making sure black people stay in a place that makes them comfortable. Because let's be honest, imagine living in a country where 400 years you receive every privilege available. Free labor for almost 2 centuries, millions of acres of free land through the Homestead Act, government assistance when black folks were excluded, white veterans received GI Bills as attended college when black veterans who served the country faithfully did not, white home ownership through FHA loans that black people didn't get while black families were redlined into poverty. There was affirmative action for white folks long before the phrase was ever even created. Let me name a few more. Tax benefits, union protections, government contracts, Social Security programs that originally excluded black labor, corporate subsidies, banking systems built on predatory denial of black access, policing designed to guard white prosperity, and the unspoken privilege of always being seen and deserving, and all that for generations. And yet here we are. After everything designed to hold us back, we still here. It makes them a failure. We're still educating ourselves, still building businesses. It makes them a failure. Still growing wealth, still buying homes, still pulling up in our Lexuses. That makes them a failure. We still thrive in the ways this country has never planned for us to thrive, and it makes them feel like failures. Because that's what they are. That's why it bothers them, because to them, our success is what it is. It makes them failures. They feel better when they can look down on us. They feel safer when we have to struggle. They feel whole when we are broken. So when they say Make America Great Again, what they are really saying is let's go back and reset the hierarchy. Let's put them back in their place, which is beneath us. Let's strip away any progress that they've made. Let's take away all their rights, all their opportunities, all the wins that make them feel equal. Because for us to feel equal, it makes them feel like failures. Because they've had every advancement known to man, and yet here we are, and that's why our excellence is so powerful, y'all. Because every time we disrupt a narrative they depended on for 400 years, every time we win and we break the system that was never designed for us to succeed, every time we shine, we expose the weakness of a structure built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen wealth. It's their failure. This is why our success is revolutionary. It's not just about your car, your house, or your lifestyle. It's a reminder that despite every barrier placed in our way, we still here, thriving, winning, and redefining greatness in our terms. And they're still what they are. failures.
Any questions? White people's COVID-19 response was a harbinger of what we're going through now. Y'all entitled, nihilistic, racist worldview is going to be the end of this country. I guess what we're seeing now is this in full bloom, flowering, flexing its wings yet again, the Tao of whiteness.